layer 2. But first, let me just talk about the pre-sale. Now,
Yes.
the announcement that I wanted to make is we're going to add an additional small public raise, and the purpose of this is to get optimal promotion of the project. And people who were with us with Drip know that the way that we handled our public raise is that we essentially got together with 6 other promotional groups: Moonshot Hunters, Bartertown, Dog Pound, Black Sheep Crypto, um, the Drip Group, Gosu TV. Um, there may be one more, I'm not sure, but either way, we got with these groups and we gave them a percentage of the allocation for the public pre-sale raise, had them do a whitelisting in their group, and then raised the capital. And this created a ton of buzz for Drip because now we
Yep.
had 6 large promotional groups that
Hmm.
had the most active people in their group with a small position in the project right from start, so they can start referring people and they can start onboarding the rest of the people in the group. But since the allocation was small, it didn't meet the demand in those groups. It just gave everybody who's active a taste, and now that they have a position, they're more willing to promote it right from the start. And the majority of that uh, interest that was raised through the public pre-sale didn't was not able to buy in pre-sale, or they were able to buy just a small position of what they wanted to have as their optimal position size. So when the farm went live, um, a vast majority of the buying of drip initially came from these groups, from
Yep.
people who were alerted to the project through the initial pre-sale raise, but were not able to get into the pre-sale because the allocation was too small,
Right.
or they got in but only were able to get $500 or $1,000 worth or whatever, and they wanted to get a lot more once it listed. So uh, we're going to so when I talked to you when we talked before this interview, I was saying,
Yeah.
um, you know, I had just got done with a meeting with the owners of these groups and with
Hmm.
my partners, and we had just decided that we are going to go through with this. So I haven't gotten a chance to update the white paper, and I was saying
Yeah.
that maybe we should schedule this for tomorrow at noon. That way, I could get
Yeah.
an opportunity to update the documentation. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's for the better that we're doing it now. But people that are
Right.
listening now,
Yeah.
just know that tomorrow around 9:30 EST, we're going to make an announcement. That announcement is going to have pre-sale dates, pre-sale times, and
Awesome.
the updated info about the additional 150,000 that we're raising in this secondary public pre-sale. And 150,000 is I mean, that's a very small amount of money. It's going to be about 20,000 BUSD raised per group, right? So
Mm.
uh, it's a very small amount of the demand in these groups, but it's
Yeah.
going to get these groups buzzing for the
Oh
next
yeah.
week about this
Yeah.
public
For
sale,
sure.
about the pre-sale, about listing. And we have a referral program for L1 and 2 and the minor. So that means those people
Ah,
that get in at
sweet.
pre-sale, they're ready to
Hmm.
start referring as soon as it goes live.
As
So
soon
I
as it
think
goes
it,
net. Wow.
yeah. So I think it's important that we did this. The only reason why we didn't plan to do this from the start is because from the start I was thinking that we were going to do this as essentially a quick side project and move on to the NFT game, but
Yeah.
uh, but it became a major project that I really want to get behind, and I want to make sure that it has the most possible promotion, that we can put towards it, and I want to use every possible strategy that I know to make sure it's successful. So it was just a matter of me getting with all the group owners and working things out. And of course, when I asked them if they were down, every single one of them was like, "Yeah, I want as much as I can possibly get for the group." You
Of
know,
course.
because I've never had a pre-sale that did less than 20x. B Reap
Yeah.
did I think 47x.
Wow.
Reap did over 800x. Reap the
Wow.
last all-time high was I believe 840x, and we broke that all-time high. We just hit $40 on Reap like 12 hours ago. So
Man, that's crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it
Congrats, bro.
listed.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, that's that is a 1000x return.
Yeah.
That's we listed at 4 cents. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's a 1000x on Reap. I love to see it, man, because Reap is the first project I ever launched under my own name. Before, and I don't want to. I want to keep this tight and stick to the
Yeah.
project, because some of the other interviews I did, we went into a lot more other than the project, which is fine
Yeah.
for me. But I
Yeah.
wanted something that I can give to the people that they can get a
Sure.
quick run through the project. But just to say, since I brought up Reap, um, Reap is the first project I launched under my own name. Before I
Hmm.
had worked on Reap, I had been running a DAO that was sorry, not a DAO, a Discord group that was focused towards crypto and hosting pre-sales, and a lot of the projects that I hosted in there, I either worked on their development team or I advised them. So I had worked and helped develop a lot of projects, but Reap was the first one I built 100% myself, launched it under my own name, with my own network, everything just by myself. And, it's breaking all-time highs to this day when literally every one of our competition that built with similar mechanics as us and at the same time as us, they're gone. I don't know a single
Yeah.
one of them that is
Yeah.
still trading coin with volume and doing any action while we're still breaking all-time highs over a year later. So
That's beautiful, man.
yeah,
You're just getting
so
started too. Yeah.
yeah, we are just getting started. There's
But
so much more I can do with Reap and
yeah.
the DAO specifically. But it just goes to show that the projects that I launch them with a vision, and it's always a long-term vision, and it's always about adding to the existing ecosystem that I'm trying to build. And this is
Yeah.
why we're having a pre-sale for a farm that I'm launching on Binance Smart Chain, and my token that I launched over a year ago on the ERC20 network is pumping, right? Because it's all one ecosystem that I built with this long-term vision to let every project I build support the previous
Yeah.
products that came
Correct.
before it.
Yeah.
So
It's
so that's
important.
important to me, and the Manor Farm is going to be right in that same lane, where anything that I build, in the future, will be in support of my previous projects, including the Manor Farm, and the fact that I can add additional layers to the Manor Farm allow us to do this a lot easier because it opens up our options for ways that we can integrate it to the project in the future through adding additional layers to the farm to properly interact or serve whatever utility makes sense with the newest projects we add to the ecosystem. So very
Hmm.
exciting on that end.
Yeah.
So
Totally.
the pre-sale raise, we're going to update this to 1.75 million. uh that is a very small raise. That's a little more than half the funds we raised for drip. People that saw drip list saw there was no dump, there was no listing dump,
Yeah.
nobody taking arbitrage profit on listing.
Hmm.
The price just steadily rose for months and months, no correction
Yeah.
there, and that's
Yep.
because we structure pre-sales correctly.
Yeah.
And this is using the same basic structure that we used for all of our pre-sales to ensure that it has a successful appreciating launch, and we we added a couple extra things. For example, the way that the funds are allocated. Now, we're keeping this same ratio here. We're still having 10%, 20%, 30, 40%. It's just 10% of 1.75. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's the same percentages. It's just there's an extra 150,000 being raised.
Yep.
Now, when I was trying to figure out what we would use for the max for the public pre-sale, for example, this is when someone looks or thinks about $500,000. That kind of sounds like a lot, but when you set the allocations, the max allocation for how many people can contribute to the pre-sale and how much they can buy, you realize how much smaller it is than you actually think.
Right.
For sure.
For example, if we're doing 5,000, if we're doing basically, if you do the math at the max allocation that we're going to be giving to the public sale, only about 50 people will actually be able to get in if everybody does the max. So we're keeping it very tight, and that's it's just important. And when you do this math, it just gives you an idea of how small the raise actually is. If everybody gets in at the max, you're letting a relatively small amount of the people that are interested in the project get in, and they're getting in a small amount. So this is why we decided to lower the max amount per person in public to ensure that we're allowing more people in. And we'll tomorrow in the announcement, we're gonna have the exact maximum and minimum allocation per person for public and private. I alluded to what those could be, but we're gonna have that in the announcement tomorrow, all structured exactly what the minimum and maximum and everything is.
Perfect.
In the announcement tomorrow with the updated documentation. But for the funds that we're raising, 10% goes to development, and that's essentially just paying the artist, paying my partners, paying myself for the 3 months that I put into working on this, and essentially paying all the costs associated with getting this built. 20% for marketing, and this is going to go towards a rug doc review, a rug doc marketing, and they're pretty good marketers in the space. For people in the know that know about farms, they know about rug doc, and rug doc on average, if someone from what I've seen does a rug doc promotion, and their mechanics are at all interesting, they're getting 30, 40, 50 million TVL in the first day on the farm. So getting a rug doc review and marketing, that's up there, that's 100% happening. We're getting a Paladin audit, which Paladin does great third-party audits, and Paladin marketing. So you can pay Paladin a bit extra to essentially market their audit to their following. A lot of people watch Paladin and just see what the next what projects they're auditing, because they know if a project went through the trouble of getting a Paladin audit, they just got audited, chances are it's a fairly new project, and chances are they're somewhat diligent. So people look to these audit what do we want to call it? These audit publishings as a form of marketing, and you can pay a bit extra to have Paladin actively market the publication of your audit. So we're doing that. We're also getting a banner on one of the major crypto sites that basically everybody that's trading on these markets uses, in day-to-day trading, charting specifically.
Yep.
And we have a lot more work in the works as far as different YouTubers and Twitter influencers and TikTok for paid marketing. And the best part about our farm is that we have multiple ways that we're earning yield on the farm that allows us to always be setting aside a certain percentage of the funds for marketing. And because of this, we'll have a sustained marketing budget, which is so important, but we'll also be able to use essentially all of this 20% that we're raising in pre-sale for marketing for the pre-sale and launch. It's not going to be like other projects that raise however much in capital for marketing, and then you see maybe they spend a little bit and then the rest just kind of sits in the wallet, and you don't know when they're going to spend it, you don't know if they're going to spend it.
Yeah, right.
We're using all of the funds that we raise in pre-sale specifically to market the public pre-sale and the launch. So any other marketing funds that we receive after that through the yield that we generate on the back end of the farm, that we will use for sustained marketing. And everybody knows that marketing, or maybe not everybody knows, but it's I know, developers know, people that are paying attention to the space know that marketing is so important. It may be more important than functionality. As long as you have something that is secure and functional, marketing is going to determine whether you succeed or fail. And I could even make the argument that it doesn't matter if you're secure and functional. We look at,
that's true. Yeah.
I could name a ton of different projects, like Safe Moon. I'll name Safe Moon just because, like,
there you go.
It's not going to be a major battle because I named Safe Moon.
No.
Safe Moon did whatever it did, a major pump. It wasn't secure. Yeah. It did nothing, but it had that marketing behind it.
Yeah.
And if we can create something that is functional, that is secure, and get the marketing behind it,
solid.
This is what we need, right? So this is why, unlike some of the other projects that I've built in the past, we have a sustained marketing budget for the farm. And because the all of my projects are part of one big ecosystem, that means sustained marketing for all of the projects now.
Correct.
Whereas before in the past, I've raised funds, I've taken a small percentage of the pre-sale raise for marketing, but then that's a finite amount of marketing. And since I never use the tokens that I raise in pre-sale as bargaining chips to get people to market, and I never sell the tokens to either secure profit for myself or to use those funds for marketing, it limits our ability to market, and that won't be the case anymore for the Manor Farm and for the ecosystem, because this project allows for sustained cash flow for marketing, and it's done through essentially a wallet that everybody can keep track of. So it's not some wish-washy set of wallets that is just like me and my partner send it back and forth. It's a dedicated wallet for marketing that everybody can watch and monitor, which is important. Transparency is very important, I feel.
With you, we noticed.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, man. Of all the days for my internet to decide to fuck up. Sorry, excuse my language.
We don't need you anyway. I'm kidding. It's all good.
Has the stream been going okay though?
The stream's fine. The stream's fine. It's on the cloud anyway. It's just like mine seems to be messing up on my end, but you're still there. It's all good.
All good,
Okay.
Sorry. Keep going.
It's all good. So we can't control some of those things, right? So if we're
Yeah.
actually, but I do have a generator, and I make sure I always have a hotspot, not for interviews, for trading. Because
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I've been trading as my primary career, trading, developing for a long time now, almost a decade. So,
Wow.
because of that, I've
Yeah.
completely set myself up for, everything could go down. And I know I at least have an hour where I have
Yeah.
online, and I can handle
Yeah.
things. So it's
Yeah,
important.
I'm at the point that I'm actually gonna get a second internet service as well with a totally
We
different
have to.
provider. I
Your mobile
kind of
data
have
might be
to.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
hotspot.
even that, mobile data is great, except for in my office, which is
Oh
Oh,
really
yeah.
weird. Outside, it's
yeah.
on 500 Mbps or something, but once I step into my office, it dies. I think there's a
Well,
little gadget you can get now that you can actually help improve the signal.
Well,
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
there's relays, but what I was gonna say is, you could get a Starlink. Those
Okay.
Starlinks, I don't remember how much money they are, but they're not super expensive. But then
Yeah.
it's a fairly low cost, high speed internet, satellite based, that
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's by well, it's under the umbrella of Elon Musk companies. Uh,
Oh, okay.
So it's SpaceX is the one that put up the satellites for Starlink, and everybody that I know that uses Starlink has been very
Hmm.
happy with it. So I know some people that live in the Midwest that live like on a farm, basically like
Yeah.
deep country, and they use a Starlink, and it works for them, great. And I
Oh,
know some
sweet.
Nice.
people in Europe as well that use it. So
I'm
it's
gonna have to look
Starlink,
global.
huh?
into it.
So
It's global.
yeah, look
Yeah.
it up.
Well, yeah. Philippines has a version. Another Starlink. No, I'm kidding. No,
Yeah,
no,
Starlink. So
they're
it might be worth it. I would get it if I
Oh, for
purchase some
sure.
didn't
fake
have
ones.
reliable internet. I would get it for sure because it's
Yeah. I
reliable.
mean, look,
Nice.
it just chose today because normally I don't have any issue. It's just
Yeah,
it's you, bro.
I hope not.
People are
I hope
watching,
not.
buddy.
Nah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
nah,
they
it's
don't
all
want
good.
people
But
to get out.
anyway,
All right.
anyway,
So
Yeah, yeah.
so I
sorry.
just got finished talking about why marketing is so important and how this project allows for a consistent base of cash flow for marketing in ways that we haven't done with other projects and in ways that other
Mhm,
projects aren't doing. My project or
mhm,
any other projects in the space don't have it set up the way that we have it set up to have a sustained marketing budget. And
Hmm.
I'll explain that. But for right now, I'm talking about the 20% of the pre-sale raise
Yep.
going to marketing. 30% goes to rewards in L1. So this is essentially, if you are staked in the farm token for the single asset pool, the farm token for L1 is the Rev token. If you get into the Rev single asset pool for staking, you earn BUSD rewards. These
mhm.
BUSD rewards are coming from the funds raised in the public presale, the 500 BUSD. So,
Hmm.
Yeah.
um, so that BUSD is essentially going directly as a uh it's going directly as a reward for the L2 platform, and it's set up to make the L1 platform sustainable because it provides a way to take profit on the platform or on the farm without needing to sell the Rev token, which allows you to
Right.
accumulate more Rev tokens and
Mhm.
use them for their primary use case, which is as a pre-sale token for L2. So, like I was saying, L1 is only a 14-day period. So it L1 only lasts 14 days. At the end of those 14
Hmm.
days, emissions stop, and at that point, the L1 farm reward token is used for the pre-sale of L2, and this is why I essentially call L1 an extended launch period for the farm.
Hmm.
That's essentially what its utility is. The utility for the L1 farm token is as a pre-sale token, essentially, and the L1 platform is essentially like a launchpad platform for L2. That's one way that people could think of it, but
Yep.
there's a lot to it. So you don't have to necessarily look at it that way. You could look at it as a very sustainable farm
Mm-hmm.
and take advantage of it that way. But I think the people who seek the most benefit and optimize the farm, to the max degree, are people that look at it as a launch period where they can accumulate as many rev tokens as possible to use in the L2 presale, and then they get a large position and become a majority owner in L2. I
Mhm.
believe those
Okay.
people are going to be the ones that seek the max benefit from the platform. And
Right.
then we have 40% of the fund raised going to liquidity. So that's essentially, we take the amount of rev tokens uh, and pair them with 40% of the BUSD raised. We add them to PancakeSwap in the PancakeSwap liquidity pool, and
Mm-hmm.
now we have the Rev tokens tradable on the market. The amount of Rev tokens we use to add this liquidity is enough to list at about $8. That's the Rev token is going to list at around $8,
Oh,
and
Okay.
people who get into the public presale are going to get it for 10% under listing price. So if it lists at $8, you're going to get it at $7.20, somewhere around there, something like that. And then if you get into the private sale, you're going to get it for 20% under listing. So it even better value. Also, if you get into the private sale, your max allocation for your own person is going to be
Mm-hmm.
significantly larger than if you get into the public pre-sale.
Yeah.
And this is because people who are in the DAO are people who have been with me for a long time. They've been with me for years, many of them, and they're people who we know are true believers of the project and are
Mm-hmm.
in it for the long haul. And these are
mhm.
people that are much more likely to stake and remain in a stake position for years. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people have a public and a private pre-sale raise, where the private pre-sale raise is a larger allocation, and oftentimes this just goes to insiders without any looking into their merit, or there's no weight there with their merit,
Right.
whereas ours, there's a bit of a merit weighting there, because people who are in the DAO have shown themselves to be long-term holders, and people who uh you know do positive actions and do staking in the platforms. And just the fact that they have the REAP tokens that they have to join the DAO proves that. And also, many of them have been people that joined the DAO because they were in the Discord group before we migrated to Telegram, which was years ago, and these people have been with us for years. So it's not based on like insiders, anything like that, like a lot of other projects did. It's based on merit, and essentially people who have shown that they're willing to, bring a large amount of capital into the system and leave it in
Right.
for a long period of time. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to have these people behind us, and we want to have those people as essentially large holders of the token, because we know that they're going to be
Yep.
the ones that are the backbone, and they're going to be in there for the long run. And the additional raise that we have, the $150,000 raise, is going to be um, essentially a raise handled like we did with Drip, where we're going to have about six different groups that are promotional groups. We're going to allocate about $20,000 to each of them, and essentially allow for uh, you know probably 20 people in that group to have 1,000 BUSD position, or maybe 40 to have a $500 BUSD
Okay.
position. But you see what I'm saying? They're small positions. It's just
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get buzz going in the group.
Right.
And
And it works good. Yep.
all of that capital raise is going split in the ways that I just talked about, the 10, 20, 30, and
Yeah.
40%, right? So